Hello, my name is Andre Bacchus. The patriarchy is a really long stretch, so I will be breaking it up into multiple sessions. I will be sure to announce at the beginning of the session. Although I will be discussing Socrates and Confucius, you may wonder what they are doing in the patriarchy. Very surprising to see. At this time period, the patriarchy was very accepted. (599 to 527 BCE), the life of Mahavira, 24th and last Tirthankara of Jainism. Jainism, traditionally known as Jain Dharma, is an ancient Indian religion. The three main pillars of Jainism are non-violence, non-absolutism, and non-attachment. Asceticism, abstinence from sensual pleasure, is also an important principle. (563 to 400 BCE). 400 BCE to 563. In this time period, Gautama Buddha, properly known as the Buddha, also known as Siddhartha Gautama or Siddhartha Gautama or Buddha Shakyamuni, was a Shramana who lived in ancient India from the 5th to the 4th century BCE. He is regarded as the founder of the world religion of Buddhism and revered by most Buddhist schools as a savior, the enlightened one, who discovered and an ancient path to release, cling, and craving and escape the cycle of birth and rebirth. He taught for about 45 years and built a large following, both monastic and lay. His teaching is based on his insight into the arising of dukkha, the unsatisfactoriness of clinging to impermanent states and things, and the ending of dukkha, the state called nibbana or nirvana, extinguishing the three fires. Buddha was born into an aristocratic family in the Shakya clan, but eventually renounced lay life. According to Buddhist tradition, after several years of mendicancy, meditation, and asceticism, he awakened to understand the mechanism which keeps people trapped in the cycle of rebirth. The Buddha then traveled throughout the Ganges plain, teaching and building a religious community. The Buddha taught a middle way between sensual indulgence and the severe asceticism found in the Indian Shraman movement. He taught a training of the mind that included ethical training, self-restraint, and meditative practices such as jhana and mindfulness. The Buddha also critiqued the practices of Brahmin priests, such as animal sacrifice and the caste system. A couple of centuries after his death, he came to be known by the title Buddha, which means awakened one or enlightened one. Gautama's teachings were compiled by the Buddhist community in the Vinaya, his codes for monastic practice, and Suttas text based on his discourses were passed down in Middle Indo-Aryan dialects through an oral tradition. Later generations composed additional text such as systemic treatises known as Abhidharma, biographies of the Buddha, collections of the stories about the Buddha's past lives known as Jataka tales, and additional discourses, i.e., the Mahayana Sutras. Confucius, founder of Confucianism, was born in 551 BCE. Confucius was born. Confucius was a Chinese philosopher and politician of the spring and autumn period. He was traditionally considered a paragon of Chinese sages, widely considered one of the most important and influential individuals in human history. Confucius's teachings and philosophy formed the basis of the East Indian culture and society, and continue to remain influential across China and East Asia today. His philosophical teachings, called Confucianism, emphasize personal and governmental morality, correctness of social relationships, justice, kindness, sincerity. Confucianism was part of the Chinese social fabric and way of life of Confucians. Everyday life was the arena of religion. His followers competed successfully with many other schools during the 100 schools of thought era, only to be suppressed in favor of the legalists during the Qin dynasty. Following the victory of the Han over the Chu after the collapse of the Qin, Confucius thoughts received official sanction in the new government during the Tang and Song dynasties. Confucianism developed into a system known as West and Neo-Confucianism, and later as New Confucianism. Confucius is traditionally credited with having authored or edited many of the Chinese classic texts, including all the 5 classics, but modern scholars are cautious of attributing specific assertions to Confucius himself. Aphorisms concerning his teachings were compiled in the Analects, but only many years after his death. Confucius's principles have commonality with Chinese tradition and belief. The filial piety, he championed strong family, loyalty, ancestor veneration, and respect of others by their children, and husbands by their wives, recommending family is the basis for the ideal government. He espoused the well-known tradition, do not do unto others what you do not want done to yourself, the golden rule. Let me stop. I'm about to run out of time, and I'm going to post this one, and I'll finish off in the second half of the recording.